me when it's starting. Wait. It's starting.
Okay, everybody. Today we're starting a new lesson, and it is how can writers use wordplay to develop a story's setting and characters. So first, I'm going to ask, who is my librarian? Bella, will you please go around and give everybody a book? We are starting a new lesson, and the book that we're going to be covering today is The Phantom Toll Booth, okay?
The Phantom what?
The Phantom Toll Booth. Does anybody know what that means? A toll booth?
It looks like a rabbit.
Looks like a rabbit. Well, once everybody gets their book, we'll go over what we're going to do. First, I'm going to start off. Today's objective is the learner will make inferences about Milo's traits, and Milo is the main character out of our book, based on the illustrations and author's description in Chapter 1. And today's standards that we'll be going over is quote accurately from a text when explaining what the text says explicitly, and when drawing inferences from the text. So, when you guys get your book, yes, Emma?
Are these supposed to be notes? Because I look more than my book.
Thank you. Whenever you get your book, I would like for you to go ahead, look at the front of the book, look at the back, see what you notice about it.
What one do?
Just go ahead and start looking at the front of the book. Yes, Rochelle?
I noticed this is yellow man.
Yes. Well, I'm going to go ahead and pass out, please. Take one and pass it back.
Okay.
Take one and pass it back. Please. So we're going to be going, this is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to do this whole packet today, okay? This is all we're going to be doing. The first thing is our Notice and Wonder chart. And I want us to do a faith pair share. I'm sure Ms. Summers uses those with you all the time. I want you to look at the front and the back of the book. And I want you to take a second to see some things that you notice and some things you might wonder about. Okay, I want you to turn to somebody near you, and I want you to both share a notice and a wonder.
I noticed there's a pigeon. I noticed that there was a man. I noticed there's a clock. I have one now. I think the sweater's in there. There's a clock. There's a clock. Yes, ma'am. I don't know why. Well, he's the best. Right here. Why is there scribbles
You and Sharon?
I'll keep this one.
Okay, so let's bring it back up here. What was one notice, please raise your hand, what was one notice that you and your partner came up with, Bella?
There's a clock on the dog.
There's a clock on the dog.
I call it a clock.
There's a clock. What else? Roshan?
I noticed the yellow man seems confused.
He looks confused. He does look confused. That was really good. Ariella?
And I noticed the man is yellow.
He's yellow. Okay. Okay, let's move over to our wonder. What are some things that we wonder about after looking at the front and back of our book? Carson.
I wonder what this creature is.
You wonder what that creature is? It does look really different. I don't know what it is.
Looks like a mean rabbit.
Okay, what's another wonder? Peyton,
Why is there a clock on the creature?
why is there a clock on it? Okay. So we have our notice that there's a clock, the mane is yellow, and on our wonder, what is the animal and why is there a clock on it? So going back to the story that we read in our last module, well actually, no, we're going to talk about first how can writers use wordplay to develop a story setting and characters. Do we remember that video that we watched yesterday? It was on first. What did you learn about wordplay? What have you learned from that? Like, Bella, what do you?
It's kind of confusing.
It's confusing. Wordplay can be really confusing. Is it funny?
Yeah.
So it can, wordplay's funny, but it can also be really confusing. So we know yesterday with Costello and his friend, they were going back and forth in that video, and I was even lost. And I've watched that video a couple times. It was really funny what they were saying, but I got lost a few times watching that video. I don't know about you guys. So moving on to the next, our content framing question. What does a deeper exploration of the main character Milo reveal in Chapter 1 of the Phantom Toll Booth? How did you learn about characters in Thunder Rolling in the Mountains, mainly Sound of Running Feet and Chief Joseph? How did we learn things about those two characters in the book that we read, our last book, Peyton?
Dialogue.
From their dialogue, so what is dialogue?
When a character talks in the book.
It's their conversation, the way they speak. We learn a lot about our characters by the way that they speak, the things that they say, the way that they act. So we could put for number 3, how did you learn about the characters, Son of Running Feet and Chief Joseph, by their words, wordplay. So going on to the next one, how might we use this knowledge and build on it as we continue and wonder about the characters in the Phantom Toll Booth? You have an idea about it? You don't? Okay, so if we said this, how did we learn about Son of Running Feet and Chief Joseph? How did we learn about them? We said by their words and wordplay. How do you think we might get to know the characters in the Phantom Toll Booth? What are we going to pay attention to while reading? Their wordplay, what they and their personalities. Good job. Their words. Their words and their personality. I love that. Am I good to erase this up here? Wait, the top one? You already have that? Thumbs up when you're ready to move on. Which one are you? Scrolling on down to our new vocabulary. We have our word toll booth and phantom. Before I read the meaning, did anybody already know what toll booth meant? Peyton, how did you know?
When we went on a camping trip and we went camping, we had to pay at a toll booth.
Yeah. Good job, yeah. The definition that I have here is a small building in which payments are collected so that passage or access to a roadway can be permitted. Do we know any synonyms that might go on with what a toll booth is? Synonyms, words that are a lot. Does anybody know? Roshan, do you have one?
I think so. Like a bank?
A bank? We do give money to a bank. Something that I wrote down was like a kiosk type thing. Bella, what did you have? You were saying what?
Building.
A building, yeah. Now moving on to phantom. Our meaning here is seemingly real, but it is not real. What is a synonym or synonyms of that? Callan? A what? Mm-hmm. Anybody else? Peyton?
Like a dream.
A dream. Gabriel, did she take yours?
Ghost like thing?
Ghost.
A spirit?
Daniel?
Ghost story?
A mirage. Ooh, I like that. I didn't even think that. I liked that mirage. I put a dream or a hallucination, which is basically kind of like a mirage. Hallucination. And if you think of anything else and that I don't write it down, still feel free to write it down, just whatever helps you remember best. These were kind of the ones that helped me remember. Okay, if you will go on to your next page. Question 6 is knowing what the words phantom and toll booth mean, what additionally wondering questions do you have about the story? Knowing the meanings, Ella, what's it going to be about?
What does a toll booth have to do with the story?
What is a toll booth? I like that. What does a toll booth have to do with the story? Question 6 says, describe what you see in the cover illustration. Based on the illustration in the title, what predictions do you have about the story or the characters? So if you look back at your book again, you look at the illustration. Does anybody have a prediction about the story? Ava? You think it's going to be about the man and the creature? Daniel?
Maybe when there's like a troll of who fell into like a different universe, because that is like not all look like.
That looks like something, that creature looks like it could be from a different universe? It does. I've never seen an animal like that with a clock on its stomach. Roshan?
I think the guy has a family and he's trying to like pay off his debt and stuff. And he's trying to provide for his family.
That's a very deep, one. I like that. So, we gave a lot of different types of examples there, and you can choose whichever one you want. Daniel's was very creative. I liked that book. That does look like something that wouldn't be. Number 8, what kind of story do you think it'll be? Are we thinking this story's gonna be funny? Do we think it'll be scary? Do we think it'll be sad? What are we thinking? Well, looking off the cover, what do we think it'll be? Looking off the cover, Ariella, you think it'll be funny? What do you think it'll be funny? The animal's face. Just the illustration looks funny. You think it'll be strange? What's making you think strange? It just, the whole cover looks strange. Yeah. We'll put funny slash strange. I think y'all are on the right track. I think
Hey, what about number 7?
number 7, I didn't write it down. Everybody kind of gave a bunch of different answers for it that I all really liked. Some, it was describe what you see in the cover based on the illustration and title. What predictions do you have about the story? What did, Daniel, what did you say again for that one? So you could put, went to a toll booth. Toll booth. Got sent to third edition. But you don't have to write down exactly what I write. I really encourage that you write down your own thoughts, because that's what's going to help you remember this better. Yes, Peyton?
For number 8, I also think it would be funny because there's a quote and it says, "A classic humor is full of warmth and language."
That's a really good observation. I like that. At the bottom of your book, if you'll look, under where it says who it's illustrated by, as Peyton read, there's a quote from the New York, I guess it's the bestseller, "A classic humorous, full of warmth and real innovation." So that was a good notice. Does everybody have this written down? Are we good to go? Thumbs up when we're ready. This is kind of the build up to it. Which one did we start? Am I good to erase? Okay. Now, if you'll open your books and on my PowerPoint presentation, I have a picture of the map, but it is not as clear as what your books is. So if you'll open up, should we,
What is that map on?
I don't know. That's why I want us all to take the time to look at it together.
I think Daniel might be right.
I know.
That's what it's looking like.
I want us to take a minute and I want us to look at this map. And I want us to do another thing, pair share, because this is something different that I've never seen before. I want us to think of a couple of notice and wonders. I want you to take a minute, look at all the names, because those are some very strange names that we have on our map. After you took a minute to look at it, I want you to turn to your partner and share a notice and a wonder that you may have.
Oh, my notice is a mess. What do you notice? It looks strange. It also notice it's great. Miss Emily, can you call me? Because I'm going to share the
Okay.
And another thing, it says sea of knowledge.
Okay, let's bring it back up here, please. I need somebody who can give me a notice about the map. Carson.
I noticed it looks strange to other maps.
It looks different than other maps. It's different than other maps. Who else has a notice? Addison?
It's probably like from a dream.
You think it's from a dream? Do we think it's a notice or a wonder? Because do we know? So do we want to put it under wonder?
Yeah.
Okay. Is map from a dream. But I do like that wonder. Who can give me another notice? Bella?
It has weird names.
It has weird names. And then I'll take one more wonder. What's your wonder?
I have names.
Okay, well, what's your notice? Go ahead and tell me your notice.
It says sea of knowledge bigger than all the other ones.
So your knowledge. I noticed that too. Who has a wonder? Rashawn?
I wonder why there's a ship there.
Why there's a ship? Okay. And right here we have some new vocabulary, and if we took a good look at the map, we noticed that we saw some of these words on the map as well in some of the places. The first one is wisdom, which means accumulated knowledge or learning. Does anybody have a synonym for that they would like to share? Daniel?
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Our next one's in knowledge, and all three of these are nouns. Knowledge is understanding of a topic or idea through learning or experience. Do we have a synonym for that? Bella? Learning. And then ignorance, a state of not knowing, lack of awareness, or education. Do we have Addison?
Like careless.
Careless? I like that. I like that. I'll give you a second to get your notice wonders and synonyms wrote down.
I remember.
Thumbs up when we're ready to move on to the next bit. Okay, we're going to do one more that relates to the map. Question 11 says, how do some of the words you recognize on the map relate to wisdom? Bella?
On the map it says sea of knowledge.
Sea of knowledge. There's a lot of different names on here. I like Bella's. Does anybody else have anything, Blake?
I see a name that says Old City of Wisdom.
Old City of Wisdom. Yeah. Daniel?
I have a theory
Okay.
of how he like goes to the universe. I'm guessing he has like ignorance, meaning that he just doesn't know where he is.
He doesn't understand. He doesn't know. Yeah. Okay. Gabriel?
I didn't get to finish this name.
For which one? It's okay. We'll come back to that. The synonym or wisdom and similarities. We'll come back to that in a minute, and you can ask Bella and Addison to help too. We're about to start start reading the story. I want to make sure we have enough time to really get into it and talk about it. So for question 11, how does some of the words you recognize on the map relate to wisdom? It has some of this, so we said it had the seed of knowledge. And we said that knowledge and wisdom kind of went together. And did anybody else have anything to add? Tristan?
There is a place called
Old City of Wisdom. So, that might have something important that you can write down. Old City of Wisdom. I'll be interested to see what that's about this school. Kristen, did you remember? This word? That's knowledge. So as you guys are finishing writing, those who are done, go ahead and turn to page 9. That's where the first chapter is going to start. Where we're going to start the book. And as I'm reading this first chapter to you guys, I want you to kind of think about, I want you to think of the details that we read about Milo, the main character. I want you to try to picture what you think he might look like in your own mind. So did everybody get that wrote down? Okay, that's fine. I'll give you another minute to write. Page 9, is where chapter 1 starts, and chapter 1's labeled Milo. Okay, y'all ready? There was once a boy named Milo who didn't know what to do with himself. Not just sometimes, but always. When he was in school, he longed to be out, and when he was out, he longed to be in. On the way, he thought about coming home, and coming home, he thought about going. Wherever he was, he wished he was somewhere else, and when he got there, he wondered why he bothered. Nothing really interested him, least of all the things that should have. It seems to me that almost everything is a waste of time, he remarked. One day, as he walked dejectedly home from school, I can't see the point in learning to solve useless problems, or subtracting turnips from turnips, or knowing where Ethiopia is, or how to spell February. And since no one bothered to explain otherwise, he regarded the process of seeking knowledge as the greatest waste of all time. As he and his unhappy thoughts hurried along, for a while he was never anxious to be where he was going. He liked to get there as quickly as possible. It seemed a great wonder that the world, which was so large, could sometimes feel so small and empty. And worst of all, he continued sadly, there's nothing for me to do, nowhere I'd care to go, and hardly anything worth seeing. He punctuated the last thought with such a deep sigh that a house sparrow singing nearby stopped and rushed home to be with his family. Without stopping or looking up, Milo dashed past the buildings and busy shops that lined the street, and in a few minutes reached home, dashed through the lobby, hopped onto the elevator, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and off again. Opened the apartment door, rushed into his room, flopped dejectedly into a chair, and grumbled softly, another long afternoon. He looked glumly at all the things he owned. the books that were too troubled to read, the tools he had never learned to use, and some small electric automobile he hadn't driven in months, or was it years? And the hundreds of other games and toys, bats and balls, and bits and pieces scattered around him. And then, to one side of the room, just next to the phonograph, he noticed something he had certainly never seen before. Who could possibly have left such an enormous package, and such a strange one? For while it was not quite square, it was definitely not round, and for its size it was larger than almost any other package of smaller dimensions he had ever seen. Attached to one side of the bright blue envelope, which said simply, "For Milo, who has plenty of time." Of course, if you've ever gotten a surprise package, you can imagine how puzzled and excited Milo was. And if you've never gotten one, pay close attention, because someday you might. "I don't think it's my birthday," he puzzled, "and Christmas must be months away. I haven't been outstandingly good, or even good at all." He had to admit this even to himself. "Most probably I won't like it anyway, but since I don't know where it came from, I can't possibly send it back." He thought about it for quite a while, and then opened the envelope, but just to be polite. "One genuine turnpike toll booth," it stated, and then it went on. "Easily assembled at home, and for use by those who have never traveled in land beyond." Beyond what? Thought Milo as he continued to read. "This package contains the following items. One genuine turnpike toll booth to be erected according to directions. 3 precautionary signs to be used in precautionary fashion. Assorted coins for use in paying tolls. 1 map to date carefully drawn by master cartographers depicting natural and man-made features. 1 book of rules and traffic regulations which may not be bent or broken." And in smaller letters at the bottom it concluded, "Results are not guaranteed, but if not perfectly satisfied, your wasted time will be refunded." Following the instructions which told him to cut here, lift there, and fold back all around, he soon had the toll booth unpacked and set up on his stand. Yes, Richard?
I think Lena was right. Something about the dimension. I'm going to talk about the dimensions.
There might be. I don't know. But Roshan, when it said dimensions, it was actually talking about the size of something. Not another, but that was still a good thought you had. Okay. He fitted the windows in place and attached the roof, which extended out on both sides, and fastened the coin box. It was very much like the toll booths he had seen many times on family trips, except of course it was much smaller and purple. What a strange present, he thought to himself. The least they could have done was to send a highway with it, for it's terribly impractical without one. But since, at the time, there was nothing else he wanted to play with, he set up the very signs. "Slow down, approaching toll booth. Please have your fare ready. Have your destination in mind," and slowly unfolded the map. As the announcement stated, it was a beautiful map in many colors, showing principal roads, rivers and seas, towns and cities, mountains and valleys, intersections and detours, and sites of outstanding interest, both beautiful and historic. The only trouble was that Milo had never heard of any of the places it indicated, and even the names sounded most peculiar. "I don't think there really is such a country," he concluded after studying it carefully. "Well, it doesn't matter anyways." He closed his eyes and poked a finger at the map. "Dictionopolis," read Milo slowly, when he saw what his finger had chosen. "Oh well, I might as well go there as anywhere." He walked across the room and dusted the car off carefully. Then, taking the map and rulebook with him, he hopped in and, for lack of anything better to do, drove slowly up to the toll booth. As he deposited his coin and rolled past, he remarked wistfully, "I do hope this is an interesting game. Otherwise, the afternoon will be terribly dull." So what do we think the story is going to be about? What are our thoughts so far? on.
I think it's gonna be a total the total kind of share out thing.
Okay. Emma?
He's gonna go to the toll booth and he's going to go to like another dimension, but it's all gonna be fake.
Okay.
Dream or something.
Okay, Peyton.
I think it's kind of gonna be like what Daniel said, because he goes to a toll booth and then all of these destinations are like in a different dimension, and that he's gonna go into different areas.
And that would explain why we've never heard of any of those names on the map, right? So, from what we have read so far in the story, would we say that this is a realistic or a fantasy? We would say this is a fantasy story. This is a fantasy. And do you think this will be serious or humorous? Do we think this is going to be something super serious, or do we think it's going to be funny? We think it's going to be funny. And why do we think it's going to be funny?
Because nothing serious has happened yet.
Nothing too serious has happened yet, Peyton.
Because humorous is used on different.
Humorous and funny being the same things. Good job. What clues helped you answer 12 and 13? We kind of answered 13 by saying the quote on the front of the book said it was going to be funny. But how do we know this is going to be fantasy? Bella?
You can't get a package with the total booth in it.
Can't get a package. Anything else? Roshan?
Total's not talk.
Booths don't talk. Did it talk in the story?
No.
I don't think it talked in the story. Anybody else have anything? So we're going to say it's funny because of the quote. And then we're going to say fantasy because you got a toll booth. You got the toll booth in the mail as a package, and what else? There were some other things that made me know that this is going to be a made up story. Daniel?
When it said on like dimensions, like, because apparently the package is like really weird.
Yeah, the way it was shaped and the sizes of it all, it was a really weird package that he had received. Does anybody have anything else? Like,
Because it had made up places.
it had made up places, it had names that we've never heard of before, so that's how we know it's going to be fantasy. Good job, Blake. Thank you. Made up places. Okay.
I need time to like it.
Okay, go ahead, write it down really quick, and we're gonna move on to the next thing. As you're writing it down, Carson, just listen, because we're gonna keep on trucking along with this. Next, we're gonna go on to making inferences. Right here's a quote that says, "Good readers make inferences or educated guesses based on clues and text, including illustrations. Good readers know that they can make inferences about what characters are like by observing their words, thoughts, and actions in a story, as well as studying the illustrations." So number 15 is, based on the clues in the story and the illustration, what inferences can you make about Milo's traits? In other words, what adjectives could you use to describe his personality and how he views the world? What are some adjectives or quotes from the story we could use? Peyton.
He said, "This is going to be another long afternoon."
He's kind of, he's not a real happy person. He's kind of gloomy. Do we like that word? He's kind of He's not too happy. He doesn't get too excited. Daniel?
Dull.
He's dull. I like that. We'll put Milo is dull person. What else could we use to describe Milo? Taylor?
He thinks everything is a waste of time.
He thinks everything's a waste of time. Something else I noticed, it says in the book, is he's never really content. He's never really content with anything. It says when he's going one place, he wishes he was somewhere else. Peyton?
Huh?
Oh, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, I was going to say that he is kind of like a depressed person.
He's kind of depressed. He's not happy with what he has. And this just says waste of time. I'll put waste of time.
So what's the second?
And once you get that wrote down, give me a thumbs up because we're going to go into a small group and do a very quick activity, okay? Okay. So now we're going to go into our small group activity, and I've already went ahead and kind of grouped you guys up to save some time. So what we're going to do is everybody is going to get a quote from chapter 1 that we read, okay? Everybody's going to get one quote, and we're going to be in groups of 3. I got 6 quotes, there's 18 of us, so we're going to be in groups of 3. What I want you to do is everybody will get their quote, and I want you and your group to read and determine what we can infer about Milo from the quote, okay? And then I want you guys, when you get an idea, I'm going to come around and I'm going to give each group a sticky note. And I want you to write your answer down on it. Just one person from the group has to write their answer down. And then I'm going to put your quotes up here. And then I want you and your group to come up here with your sticky note and read it to the class. Okay? My first group I have is Daniel, Braxton, and Gabriel. Gabriel, if you want, Carson, if you want to sit right there, because you're going to be...
I just want to know who you
I'll get to it in a minute. If you'll please sit right over there.
want. I'm my stepmother was.
You'll just need maybe a pencil. I'm going to need Tristan, Taylin, and Blade. And you can move your desks. I'm going to have Addison, Callan, and Jackson. Abby, Emma, and Miles. Rashawn, Peyton, and Ariella. Carson, Ava, and Bella.
I don't know what this is. Carson
He is with, I'm going to give you guys, listen, y'all are going to have about 4 minutes. I'm going to set a timer for 4 minutes. I want you guys to start reading your quote, coming up with what you can infer about Milo. And then I would like for you guys to go ahead and already have it written down on your sticky note, okay? Go. And if you need help, feel free to ask. I will come around and help you guys.
Why does this point matter? I'm great.
How is it me?
Talk to your group about it.
That's not me.
Y'all are all here to return flow, and y'all are all confirmed what you can about our main character models. And stay at the point right here. Y'all's flow is and it's on paper. Okay, who's gonna write for y'all? I'm gonna leave this right here. Somebody pick it and write. I'm coming around.
Who's gonna
Who's gonna write for
I do. I can see
what you infer that y'all came up with?
He said that.
Make sure you put it.
And make sure we know why. Okay. Who's writing for you? Two. He didn't do it. He stayed away from it. He didn't feel like it was.
I guess I like it. Based on this okay, and this is what and worse of all, this is what it looks like. And worse of all, there's nothing for me to do.
Do we have what we're writing?
Yeah, I was writing it down. Do we write this on?
Yes. Wait, the first time I did it.
No, you don't have to read it when you go up there. Yes, but you put your face in what you're
I don't know why, but worse for all, he was careless and I also was there because he never knew what to do.
It's not papers.
He doesn't like being
Got 30 seconds, guys. If you haven't started writing, go ahead.
Except for activities.
Okay, if you guys will go ahead and move your desks back really quick. Do I have a group that would like to go first? Peyton, your group? And Reese and Flo? Who has the Okay. So, Ariella, let's please give all of our attention Should the Ariella be respectful and listen? Do you want to read what your quote was?
Nothing really interested him, least of all the things that should happen.
And what did you and your group infer about that quote?
Milo is ungrateful for all the things he has.
Nothing really interested him, least of all the things that should. Okay, what was your quote? Please read it.
There once was a boy named Milo who didn't know what to do with himself, not just sometimes but always.
Did we hear her quote? Can you please read it again? I'm sorry, there were some people talking and taking.
There once was a boy named Milo who didn't know what to do with himself, not just sometimes but always.
And what did you and your group infer about that?
He was careless and he was always wanting.
He was never content. If I'll take those. Who wants to go next? What group would like to go next? Addison? Yeah, read your quote, and then what you and your group infer about Milo.
He regarded the process of seeking knowledge as the greatest waste of time. And I inferred that Milo didn't care about knowledge and thinks it's the greatest waste of time of all time.
I'll take your quote and sticky note. Who wants to go next? Who wants to go next? Daniel, you and your group want to come up? Read your quote, and then what you
And worst of all, which doesn't really time. Nowhere on here to and hardly anything worth seeing. But we inferred was he doesn't want to do this.
doesn't like to go do things. He doesn't. Good job. I like it. Okay, who would like to go next? Taylor, would your group like to go next? Come on up. Please.
Our quote says, it seems to me that almost everything is a waste of time. He remarked one day as he marked the jungle. And we inferred that very little is interesting. Good job.
So who would like to go next? Emma? He doesn't feel like it's necessary to learn. Good job. Carson, what's your group?
Mom, good one.
You are your group already. Who else? So was that everybody? Did everybody's groups go? Everybody's groups did. If y'all did a very good job.
Are we done?
No, we're gonna do. Everybody did a really good job with inferring. So, lastly, what are some strategies that we can use to help us learn about characters in our stories? What are some strategies that we can use? Who knows this? Like, do you know something? We could infer. Daniel?
How it talks with others.
Conversations, their words. Bella? Their actions. Okay, so this is leading us to our final thing. For our exit ticket or our wrap-up question, I want you guys to answer number 19. And it is chapter 1, what did we learn about Milo and his view of the world? How do we know? How can we learn from Milo? What do we have to do? What did we just do with the quotes? we have to infer. We have to look at the quotes and we have to infer. So I'd like you guys to answer number 19. And once you get an answer, I want you guys to go turn it into the tray. Well, that's for you to answer. What did we learn about Milo in this beautiful way? Was he a happy person? No, he wasn't a happy person. Did he get excited very easily? No, he didn't get excited. Hey Carson, can you please go to your seat real quick? Yes, Callie. Yes, let me go grab you my paper real quick. So to wrap up this lesson, what does infer mean? Peyton.
To kind of like think about what you read and think back and
Okay, Addison, would you like to add anything to that?
just like try to describe a certain thing.
Okay. Daniel?
To make guesses about a character off of details already known.
Bingo. Y'all remember that.
What's his name?
Okay, what did we infer about Milo? Raise your hand.
Oh, I know.
What did we infer, Taylor? Give me one thing. He's a glum person, Peyton.
That he thinks everything is a waste of time.
Everything's a waste of time, Rashawn.
And sad.
Ungrateful.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care. Okay, so we know our character is not the happiest person. So, do we have any guesses what will happen in chapter 2?
He will.
Ava?
That he's gonna meet his creature and
He-
become happy.
Think he's gonna make this creature make him happy. Well, you guys did an awesome job, and you guys did really good inferring your quotes. And that is it for this lesson. Good job.
Can I stop? Can we stop the camera?
Yes.
Yes. Can I stop our scene?
I don't know if I even know how to stop it.
We broke the fourth wall. I think it says off.